Can we start now?
Yes, Professor.
Are you audible?
Yes, Professor.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Are you audible?
Yes, you're
Yes, sir.
audible, sir. You can comment.
Yes, yes. You are audible and you please continue. Please continue.
Yes, yes. Good morning, one and all present here. This is Professor Neelamekam from Computing Department, Mewar International University, Nigeria. I invite
Mute.
Engineer Samar Khan, Pro Chancellor, Academics, Mewar International University, Nigeria, for Nigeria National Anandam.
Just a second, sir. A very good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening as well, and good morning to many. It's a great day that Mewar International University has taken this initiative as a university to step forward and work on promoting research in higher education. As a university, it's our first year, but we must commend the whole team who has taken this initiative today towards creating this international workshop on article publication in reputable journals. Research publication is a very key aspect for higher education, and especially in the field of academia for all academicians. And today we can proudly say that we did create a landmark by invoking this essence into individuals from all across the world. We have so far 37 countries rather represented today. We have 1400 plus individuals who have registered, and we hope the best to all the attendees. We hope the best to all the guests over here. We hope the best to all the presenters here to bring this initiative ahead and really create a landmark furthermore. Now, I would like to request the Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university to officially commence the event.
Thank you, sir. I welcome Professor Mohammad Israr, Vice Chancellor, Mewar International University, Nigeria, for program introductory speech.
Thank you,
Welcome, sir.
Professor. Good morning to all. First of all, I welcome Engineer Samir Khan, Pro Chancellor, Academics, Mewar International University, Nigeria. Engineer A.S. Bello, Pro Chancellor, Administration, Mewar International University, Nigeria. Our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Abud Hamid Al Sawafi, Vice Chancellor, University of Buremi, Sultanate of Oman. Chief guest of the event, Professor Dr. Idris Mohammed Bugade, the Executive Secretary, National Board for Technical Education, Kaduna, Nigeria. The Chairman of Mewar Group of Institution, Dr. Asaf Kumar, sir. Our speaker, Dr. Sayyidina Zulfikar bin Tahir, Dr. Pastor Dr. Mutmaya and Dr. Sovi Ganguly and Ahmed J. Ubaid. Respected faculty members and dear participants, I, Professor Dr. Mohammad Israr, Vice Chancellor, Mewar International University, welcomes you all in this workshop. Very good morning to all present here, and thank you for joining us today on one day online international on article publication in Reputable Journal. This is our first workshop in our university. In this international workshop, total there are 1,465 attendees from 37 countries. So why is publication of a journal important? The importance of journal in academic life goes beyond providing a means for communication and a permanent record. Journal articles are the final output of most research, and researcher performance and productivity are judged largely on the number of publications as well where they appear. Mewar International University is the first Indian university in Africa. MIU, with the vision of education for knowledge, peace, and prosperity, being a blend of new and innovative cutting edge education pedagogy situated in a surreal natural atmosphere, is spread across area of 150 hectare of land. Next to the metropolitan federal capital territory of Abuja, the border of Abuja and the Nasarawa state, enabling Nigerian youth from the all across the nation to reach the campus conveniently. MIU, as its academic core, provides a platform for its students to be mentored by one of the best minds from across the globe. While to build their non-curricular personnel, the university offers a wide range of opportunities such as international exchange program and internship, international language classes, special add-on lectures, and training by leading industries and leaders. Active sports activity on campus such as swimming, cricket, squash, football, horse riding, boating, tennis, and many more. We have offered three faculty. First, Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, Faculty of Computing and Sciences, and Faculty of Law, in which we offer 15 program, that is Bachelor in Accounting, Bachelor in Banking and Finance, Bachelor in Entrepreneurship, Bachelor in Economics, and Bachelor in Public Administration. Also, Bachelor in Industrial Chemistry, Bachelor in Computer Science, Bachelor in Cyber Security, Bachelor in Software Engineering, Bachelor in Biotechnology, and Bachelor in Physics with Electronics, and LLB in Commercial and Industrial Law, Private and Property Law, Public Law, and LLB in International Law. I would like to thank and acknowledge all the delegates and the support team who have worked hard to make this workshop a truly successful one. Like, I request all the delegates and participants to take part in all the activity that we have to come with for the next 3 hours. I wish everyone a successful and a fruitful workshop. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you, sir.
Nilamegam, sir, I think so you're having network issues. So let me introduce our speakers of the day. Firstly, we have Dr. Saidna Zulfikar. He's from Indonesia and is currently the Director of Research and Community Services at the University of Accra. Furthermore, then we have Dr. Pastor Regulus. He's the Junior Dean of College of Computer Studies in Philippines at the University of Perpetual. Then we have Dr. Mutmaina. She's from Indonesia. She's an assistant professor in the Department of English from University of Asaria. Then we have Dr. Sovi Ganguly from Thapar Institute of Engineering Technology from Punjab, India. Furthermore, we have Mr. Ahmed. He's from Iraq, from the University of Kufa. So this is the lineup of the various expert panelists who will be here today with you all, attendees, to groom you, train you, and work with you in terms of furthermore discussions and in the line of publications in reputable journals, which are recognized globally. Because, you know, publication is a very vast field. It is not just limited to getting your paper published in any kind of journal. Getting a publication in any journal with an ISSN number does not mean that it will be recognized globally or even regionally within your country as well. So there are various things which needs to be put into consideration. And today, that is the reason we have called up for this gathering, wherein these individuals who are from various institutions across the globe will be discussing in detail in terms of what are the critical aspects which needs to be considered in terms of having a publication done in a standard recognized journal, wherein you will be given a credit for it at the end of the day. So they'll be speaking more in detail about how, what, and what it needs to be done. Now, moving further ahead, I'll be requesting Professor Abood Sawafi, the Vice Chancellor of Buremi University, as our guest of honor for his speech. Professor Abood, you may commence, sir. Sir, you need to unmute. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Samer, the Pro-Chancellor of this wonderful university. I'm pleased to have participated in a small way right from the beginnings of this university, and I'm proud that this has gone a long way now. The Mewar International University participated in its first workshop. I'm excited by this opportunity, and I'm honored to be with you today in this first ever workshop, online workshop in an important topic, a very critical topic in higher education, which is article publication in reputable journals. I do understand that I have only 5 minutes, but very quickly, I would like to share some thoughts with the colleagues on the future of the main trends of scientific research publications as we go forward. Of course, we all know that we're living in a VUCA future. VUCA future, of course, colleagues who don't know this acronym, it's a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous future. All these things are changing around us in exponential pace. And the only constant thing, as they say now, is change. So the sector of scientific publication is not an exception to this. So let's look at what the future trends of the research and scientific publication is going to look like. The first one, just very briefly, is a digital publication. While printed publication will continue to exist in the years, there's no question that the trend now is going to be digital. It has been increased, especially more during the corona outbreak and the lockdowns. Second is innovation and research monetization. Most sponsors for research and publication are giving utmost importance for practical research. Research which can become innovations ultimately in the future. And I think especially us in Oman, in Nigeria, in the developing country, we need to focus more on research which will, of course, have an impact in our economies. The rise of machine-generated content is something which is coming up, and the recent developments in artificial intelligence and natural language processing has enabled now to automatically generate content at a level of similarity to human-generated content, which can be quite impressive. Fourthly, research topics with increased dependence on corporate research money, the independence of researchers in choosing their own topics is being squeezed, and so people who would fund normally would dictate the sort of areas they would want to research to be carried on, and especially if it's going to be funded well. New path to integrity. The last decade appears to have caught many academic publishers by surprise. The rise in the number of alternative ways to access research, combined with the falling confidence in the research integrity of much of the work published in many traditional journals, has produced a seismic shift in the industry. And we have to effectively respond to these changes, otherwise we'll be left behind. Also, the move towards open access. This is a worldwide movement to open access. Access is a very simple concept. It grants access to published articles without subscription fees, and this trend is growing fast in the world. I'm sure Mewar International University, it's a young university, will capitalize to all these advantages and opportunities which will come into fruition in the near future. Again, thank you, Pro Chancellor Mr. Samer, for this opportunity. I'm honored, as I said, to participate with you, and I wish this workshop all the best and look forward for continuous participation with you. Of course, mostly important, one of the important things I want to mention is that research has to go hand in hand with the vision and the mission of the institution. And I'm sure the colleagues would be in the near future busy crafting two important aspects. Thank you again, and look forward to seeing you in the future. All the best.
Thank you very much, sir. Really insightful of you as always. Really appreciate for you to take time and be here. Now, next in line, on behalf of Professor Idris Bugaje, who is the Executive Secretary of National Board of Technical Education in Nigeria, we have Dr. Hatim Koko Musa on his behalf here. So we'd request Dr. Hatim to have speak a few words on behalf of NBTE Secretary. Dr. Hatim, you can unmute, sir.
Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you loud here.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I represent Professor Idris Muhammad Bugaje, who is an Executive Secretary, National Board for Technical Education, Kaduna, Nigeria. We are grateful with the opportunity from the research community like Mewar International University. Although it is the first time we are holding this kind of workshop, we know it is going to benefit many of our key stakeholders, particularly in polytechnic education in Nigeria. So our major concern is to encourage participants to take advantage of the manner in which article publications are found in reputable journals worldwide. We know publication is now a major component of university polytechnic promotion for particularly academic staff. Therefore, reputable journals are important that seek to promote innovation, research, and some may even guarantee access to funding in such a manner that we continue to grow our educational sector for the betterment of the future and the world in general. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk at this all-important workshop for Mewar International University.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. Just to let our international attendees be aware of what NBT is. Right in Nigeria, we have Ministry of Higher Education. Under that, we have universities, and then we have polytechnics. So under for the universities, it is the Nigerian Universities Commission, which looks after all the degree, postgraduate, and PhD programs. And then we have the National Board of Technical Education, who looks after the certificate, diploma, higher national diploma programs. So NBT is the apex body in the country, which looks after creating the curriculum, training, and everything in depth related to diploma, higher national diploma, and certificate-oriented programs. So it was a great pleasure to have representation of the concerned body over here. Thank you very much for your kind time to be here, to have a voice heard. Now, I would like to request Dr. Ashok Kumar Gadia, the chairperson of Mewar Group of Institutions, to speak on behalf of the group.
Good morning to all who are participating in this seminar.
Morning, sir.
I, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gadia, Chairman, Mewar Group of Institutions, welcome all of you in this important seminar. First of all, I congratulate Mr. Samir Khan and the other officials of Mewar International University, Nigeria, to organize a one-day online seminar on a very important topic, that is how to write articles and papers so that it finds place in most reputed journals. This is for all academic institutions, and the professors working in the academic institutions, it is the paramount requirement for all of them to keep on writing articles and research papers on various subjects. And the quality of the articles and research papers should be of that standard that which find place in most reputed journals of the world. Now, in this seminar, the eminent speakers will, out of their experience, will guide the participants that how we should write the articles. There are certain points which are known commonly to everyone, that an article or a research paper should have the appropriate title, abstract, keywords, introduction, methods, result, discussions, conclusion, and references. These are the important things which, while writing a paper or an article, one should always keep in his mind. My dear friends, the importance of these articles and research papers is very, very essential nowadays. On the basis of the quality of papers, the grading of the universities and institutions is depending, and the grading of individual knowledge of a professor is also measured on the basis of that how much articles and papers he has published. At this juncture, I want to say that the topics which are taken for writing articles and research paper should be of innovative nature, and the end result of the article and paper should be of the welfare of the humanity, how we can save our environment, how we can protect the humanity, and how can we contribute to the welfare of the world. This should be the intention of writing the articles and research papers. More of that, I want to insist that all the research community who are engaged in writing of articles and papers should keep in mind that the net result of our article should be able to solve day-to-day problem of the world and human beings. Then it will become useful for all. I once again congratulate all the participants, and I wish the success of this seminar, and I feel that with the conclusion of this seminar, the researchers will get good knowledge through which they can write good papers. Thank you very much. Once again, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enthusiastic words to all the participants and the speakers here. Now, for closing of the inaugural program, I would request Professor Jitendra Kumar Rai, Dean of Computing and Sciences, to give a vote of thanks speech. Then we will commence furthermore with the plenary sessions after that. Dr. J. K. Rai, you can start.
Yeah. Thank you, Samir sir. is a very great occasion for any university or any institution when we come in a public forum to show us our capacities, to show our integrity, and to show the global community also what we are doing here. Today's seminar or workshop, you can say, is article publication in reputable journal. For any researcher, the research work is the key to any academia to get it forward. And apart from that, anything when you are doing great, it must be published for the sake of people who can know it. So in that sense, the topic what is taken up here is very appropriate for those not only who are newcomers, because sometimes it happens that many a times we publish a lot of publications, but in those publications, we hardly get any essence of use. So any publication which is going to be in a reputable journal, because it's the usefulness of that material. So repute of the journal itself is being established because of that reason, that we are bringing a good publication with a very hard work bringing up there. So with these remarks, simple remarks, I don't want to take much of my time. Let me thank first and foremost the chief of guest of honor at this occasion, Professor Abud Al-Sawafi, Vice Chancellor in that Oman University. And I can be grateful, sir, because you got a time which is not even matching with the timeline of our own organizational activities. You took time, you gave us a very remarkable presence here. I'm thankful to you. Then Professor Idris M. Bugaje, we are really thankful, sir. On behalf of you, we got a lot of inspirational words. So we are really thankful for that. Then the Professor Ashok Kumar Gadiaji, you have always been an inspiration for all of us who are working here in Mewar International University, as well as the Mewar group of institutions. So in that sense, all three of you who are dignitaries at this moment, at this occasion, I'm really grateful to you. Now my thanks to all these participants who are globally coming for this occasion, not only participants, but the key speakers also who are going to present their work in a sense that can motivate our newly joining all researchers in our different institutions throughout the globe. I'm really thankful to you all. Finally, I'm thanking Engineer Samir Khan, Engineer S. Bello, for that two pro-chancellors we have for our Mewar International University in Nigeria. Your immense hard work and every time your thought-provoking, inspirational words is just making everything to make us accomplished. Then Professor Neil Megam, as you took up all your charge to start this occasion, I'm really thankful to you. And then lastly, the convener of this program or the occasion, Vice Chancellor of Mewar International University, I'm really grateful to you and thankful to you all. Thank you very much, sir, for your all supports and every useful words for us. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Now we'll hand over the dice, or rather the mic, to our Vice Chancellor to commence further with the activities of the workshop.
Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sayyidina Zulfikar bin Tahir, Director of Research and Community Service Institution, University Ikra Guru Maluku, Indonesia. Please.
Hey, thank you very much for the chance that given to me. Thank you. I'd like to thanks to the International Conference Committee, especially to Professor Dr. Muhammad Amir and his member, his team, and also thank you for the participant who attended or who joined this webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear brother and sister. I am Dr. Saidna Zulfikar bin Tahir, Director of Research and Community Service of University of Pekanbaru in Indonesia. And allow me to share a little bit about how to write a scientific article we publish in Reputable Journal. I share my PowerPoint, please? So, because I could not share my material. Sorry, of Muhammad Srar. Could someone allow me to share my PowerPoint?
So your screen is already shared. We can see it.
Okay. Thank you. I think in writing, most of us or all of us already know how to write, especially a scientific article, because we all came from the university or the institution, educational institution. So in writing the article or scientific article, we are expert in this field. And in this occasion, I'd like to share about how to write a scientific article. And my topic, I start from research trend, or we know as research paradigm, or sometimes we know by paradigmatic use. Well, of course, in writing the article, we have to aim from the problem base, so we can give some solution for the problems that occur in our society or in our real life. So this paradigm lead or guide the researcher or the writer start and to end with the writing report of his result. So some of us will start by describing or knowing or verification or explore or design and develop. So this is the paradigm that in research that we have to use in our perspective, but we have to use the procedure in collecting the scientific data, that the data or the phenomena should be rational, empiric, and systematic and replicative. Rational, it means that we don't need to observe or to research some rational things, and empiric, that we can feel, we can know, we can test by our sense. And systematic, it means that we have to follow the procedure of scientific. Replicative means that the result came from our study could be duplicate by another researcher. So based on the report writing, we know as a publication, it will be divided into non-research article and research article. Non-research article sometimes came from review of the article or review of the book review, or library research. So this is called by non-research article. While what we conducted based on the research procedure or scientific procedure will rise what we call by research article. So this paradigm, of course, we have to use the quantitative or qualitative or mixed method or research and development or multi-method. So these approaches should lead us or guide us till the end of our research, and then we write a report of our result. So the article based on the research by research article. So this is just previews, just to refresh or to repeat our mind about how to write an article. Well, in writing an article, we'll give some, to simplify, I will use some analogy, little analogy about writing an article. Writing an article like we apply to marriage a girl from a rich family. So when we would like to write, we have to ask ourselves, who am I, who I am, what my education background, my track record, like ORCID, and my high index in Scopus or another indexes. And then what is my competence, my expertise, my field of expertise, and then whatever I wrote about something that published in reputable journal, and what about my book? It means that we have to realize that our competence. So, for instance, when my competence in linguistics, so I have to stand in linguistics, not to another field of study. And after that, we have to know the willingness of the candidate in law. So it is a small analogy to make us realize how to write an article, scientific article. Why? Because scientific article, the reader of the scientific article is most expert than the writer, while the non-research article, the reader of the article is low expertise than the writer. So this is the simple analogy how to, a simple analogy in writing our article. Sorry, my PowerPoint. What about my PowerPoint?
It'll be back just a minute. Yes.
Then we have to know the willingness of the candidate in law. We have to read carefully the guideline of the family that we will apply the marriage with their girl, and knowing the criteria for the doctor in law who wants to be the in law, and meet requirement by assessing relevant result, or we can collect the data from the same family, or from the information from their brother or their sister or our friend. So we have to collect the data about the candidate of family, big family or rich family or reputable family. And then we have to declare that we are intended to marry his daughter. So this is the simple analogy to make us realize that in writing an article, we have to imagine, or we have to make our plan, like how to marry a girl from a reputable family or rich family. So this is the simple analogy for us. Then, in writing our article, scientific article, we have to know the criteria of reputable family son-in-law. So all the publication or the publisher in the world use generally what we call by IMRAD. IMRAD means that the article must consist of introduction, and then method, and then research and discussion. This is the general criteria that provided by all the publisher in the world. So it is called by publication style. Every publisher, every journal has their own publication style. Even in the university or institution, they also have their publication style, right? So, but we have to see the general criteria in the word and what we call by IMRAT. But somehow, in writing our article, we know by scientific article anatomy. Here, I will give you some illustration by putting a beautiful girl in my slide, make us simply easy for us to understand in writing, in beginning our writing and ending our writing. So the anatomy of scientific article here I illustrate as a beautiful girl. Everyone will judge, will say that that girl is beautiful from her face, right? We have to realize, we have to say that all of us will say the beautiful girl we look at from her face. So the face of beautiful girl here symbolized by the title or in the abstract and keyword of our article. When writing our article, we have to make our title abstract and keyword beauty like a beautiful girl here because the beautiful title and abstract will make the reader interested in writing more and more about our article. So the title of our article must be interesting, must be sexy and concise. Some journal will require about 11 word, not more than 11 word. The short title is a good title. It doesn't mean that we have to write our title longer. So the short word of our title is 12 words. So the title also describe about our novelty or our innovation from our research result. And then here I will keep from the face until the feet of the beautiful here by introduction. In writing the introduction of our article, we have to explain from the head of beautiful girl until his feet. So in the introduction, we have to write about the background, why we climb her as a beautiful girl, and then we give some scientific justification by giving some reason and or cases, and then we try to find a gap from this picture of beautiful girl. Is there other gap of his beautiful when we compare with another girl? And then benefit of describing this beautiful girl and also the contribution and or the output from our judgment, our claim from this beautiful girl. So when we describing or in our writing from the head till the foot of this beautiful girl, followed by introduction here. And next about literature review. Literature review here, it is symbolized by the soldier that will we stand for with our theory, our reviews related finding. If we have a grand theory used in our writing, we have to put in our soldier, and then flow of thoughts of scientific event. So this is the soldier indicate the theory of refuse related study that we will put in our writing. So, and then the method. Method here indicated with stomach. The stomach is the place to produce something. So here I put the method in the stomach, because in our stomach, in the beautiful stomach, will produce something further. So in this method, we have to write our design and object or subject, and then procedure in collecting our data, and then the instrument we use in writing, and then technique of data analysis. We don't need to put it longer, but we have to put it. We have to explain it briefly. And then the five thing is result in discussion. Result in discussion here, symbol of something that I would like to mention it, but we have to know that result is the place of something that we produce. So in result in discussion, we have to write about our core finding, and then data interpretation. We try to elaborate code data with theories or some previous related findings. So this is the result, and we discuss it. And then the 5A conclusion, we try to give some hypothesis proving, then method advantages and disadvantages, and then potential and suggestion. While the last thing is the feed that we have to stand with our writing. Here we have, of course, we use some references, and of course we use the required style by the publisher or the journal, such as the APA style, American Psychology Association, or EMELA, or ISO style, etc. So this is the anatomy of scientific article that we have to follow in writing our scientific article. Next, about the article, I explained it before that the title must be sexy, must be short, and then describing our novelty or our innovation that came from our research result. And don't forget to stand in our scope, our field of study, and then relevant to the research problem. Sometimes the good title of the article is sexy and short. If, in here in the left side, I give a simple example of less innovative and good title. For instance, here, the student mathematics literacy analysis in the thematic learning curriculum 2030. So the good article, the good title of the article could be changes into mathematical literacy model. It means that we have to avoid of using the word of analysis in our title. Why? Because all the writing, all the research must be analyzed, such qualitative or quantitative. So avoid of using the word of analysis in our title. Try to change the word analysis into a good one, like using model or another. So this is about the article title. So if we have a novelty from our research, for instance, when I conduct a study about blended learning in the remote area in Indonesia, I found that the model, the appropriate model to be implemented in Indonesia is multi-blended learning. So this is the new one, the novelty or the innovation of my study, and I put in my title my innovation. For instance, multi-blended learning in remote area. So this is described about my innovation of my study or novelty of my study. I put in my title. So this is about the title. The short title is good than the longer title. The title not more than 12 words. So avoiding using the title 13 word or more than 13 word. the short title is a good title. So this is must be considered by all of us in writing our title. About the abstract and keyword. So the abstract must be concise and factual. Some publisher of the journal will require 120. Some of the publisher require 250 words. And then in the abstract, we have to describe our research objective, and then the main result, main finding and contribution. And then in abstract, we have to avoid from the quotes and avoiding using abbreviation. So here I give you example of the abstract that some of the researcher used in writing. This abstract generally used by the students in S2 or S3. We can see that the abstract of the article starting with the objective of or the purpose of the article. Here we can see that the article describes the teaching strategies used multi-grade classes. This means that the author starting the abstract with the objective of his study. And then the two main types of strategy were identified here. Then the author described the result, the core of the main findings or the findings, and avoiding write the whole of the result of our article in the abstract. Why? Because when we write all the result of our research in our abstract, the reader will not the whole of the article because they already know about the result of our study. So avoiding using to write the whole result of our study in the abstract because the reader already know about the result of our study. So in this abstract, we just put our core, our main result of our study, and then try to describe a little about the contribution of our study for the further researcher or next part or the practitioner. Then about the keyword, some publisher required 5 till the 6 word in our keyword. Keyword doesn't mean then that we have to put one word, one by one word. Keyword means that we have to put our characteristic of our article. Keyword is a characteristic of our article to be searched in search engine. When for instance, I write in the search engines such as Google or such Yahoo, I put multi-blended learning. Yeah, multi-blended learning. In search engine, will give my article. But when we put in search engine, we write in search engine blended learning. So the result of from searching of Google or Yahoo will give many of the article. It means that the keyword is the characteristic of our article be easy to find in search engine. So if you have the innovation like I explained before, so we have to write our keyword multi-blended learning. When I put this word, I write these words in search engine, directly I will find my article. This is the use of the keyword of our article. Next, about introduction. Some of us got some difficult in writing, to start in writing. In introduction, most of us will try to write from the general things up to the specific things. If we would like to write a scientific article, we have to write the point. The point means that the reader of our article is more expert from the writer. So uh, we have to explain directly about our topic. Do not talk much about something unimportant of our topic. For instance, when some of the author write about teaching languages in higher school, they will start in writing their introduction by writing language is a tool of communication between blah 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 blah. So you have to the point to directly write about our topic and do not talk much about unimportant topic in our introduction. So some of the publisher require we start from the objective of our study, but most of the publisher need the objective in the last paragraph of our introduction. In introduction, we describe about the background of our study, why we would like to write these things, and the importance of its writing, and then we came to urgency of our writing or our research, and avoiding details of data. It means that some of the author or the writer will copy and then paste in the article whole of the reviews related finding. So repeating the result of reviews research result. Here I will give you some example of writing the introduction of our article. For instance, the title of our article is Blended Learning at Mewar International University. This is our title, for instance, my title. So we have to ask why blended learning, why blended learning at Mewar International University. Then try to answer this question. Try to find many answer of this question, such from the theories, from the previous related finding, from the phenomena that occurred in our reality or in our campus, our university. Perhaps we can try also the answer from our previous studies in this object of our study. So here, for instance, I find some answer of my question why blended learning. Here, the first answer is because recently the whole world is facing the COVID-19 pandemic, blah blah blah. Second answer is because some previous related study indicated blah blah blah. And the third answer is because based on the preliminary study or my previous study, my first study at Mewar University, blah, blah, blah. This is the sample of my answer. Then deleting the word because, then deleting the word because of from all the answer. Directly, all the answer will the answer will manage well as our introduction. So when I let the word because, my first paragraph will sound like recently the whole world is facing the COVID-19 pandemic, then up to the end of paragraph. Next paragraph is some previous related study indicated, and then the next paragraph is based on my preliminary study at Mewar University. So it is directly managed as a good introduction of our writing. And in the end of our introduction, we came to the urgency of our study. of researching this case, this topic, because of this, or when we did not conduct a research of this case, the case will be blah blah blah. Then we came to our objective of the study. If we have the main objective, we can put a main objective, and then we came to the specific objective, if any, we have any specific objective of our study in the introduction part. So introduction part, in introduction, it is described about the gap. For instance, in the second answer, some previous related study here, we can provide it gaps between the previous and what recent occurred in our university. So the gap means that there is some contradict between noumena and phenomena. There is contradict between saying and the solen. There is a contradict between theories and what happened in our empirical life. So to find the gap of our study, here I provide the open knowledge maps. This is the simplest application to know the gap of our study. You may go to openknowledgemaps.org. Then here in the below of my slide, you can see the open knowledge maps. Just put the topic of the article, then go. Then next, open knowledge will automatically give you the result of previous studies in your field. When you have the bigger things, it means that many researchers already conducted this topic. While if you got the small cycle, it means that less of researchers already conduct this. So you can try with the small things, small cycle. Because small cycle, in the small cycle, you will got many gaps, gaps of the study. Then from the gaps, you will come to your novelty of the study. So just open the open knowledge maps and then try to write your topic here and see the result of open knowledge maps result. Writing the literature review, of course, we have to use the recent research journal or books last 3 or 10 years. So if we have 3 years, the up-to-date reference that we use, we try to use the 3 years, the last 3 years. But if you don't find the 3 years, we can use the 5 years or up-to-date 10 years. But when we try to use an old one of references as the grand theory of our study, it's okay, but most of the references used in our article must be up-to-date. Up-to-date reference came from the journals or book. The book also, the good book is the book came from the research, not reference book, but book from the research result. And then novelty in the literature review. After we listing some previous related study in our topic, we try to find the similarity and the differences between previous related findings and what we will conduct in our study or in our writing. It's called by state of art. This means that we have to explain the similarity and also the differences and what never been touched by previous related study and why we would like to conduct this study. And then systematic and measurable. This section of also in our literature review should expand on theory, result of previous research, not repeat what they already conducted, they already researched. And also do not copy and paste what we already write in our background or our introduction in this section. Try to expand or try to develop theories that came to our writing. Yeah, so this is about literature review. And then method, some publisher use method, or some publisher of journal need material. This part, we will write about research method, design, object and subject, procedure of data collecting, and technique of data analysis. For instance, in our dissertation, this topic is longer to explain, to write by the writer, but in article writing, we write it briefly and wholly. It means that all the subtopic of design, object, procedure, including in this subtopic in our research article. So it means that we have to write it in detail, made in full, clear research procedure from the beginning of the process to the end of research. And we have to describe in detail the steps that are sufficient to allow the research to be reproduced or reduplicative by other or following researcher. And then published method must be indicated by reference only relevant modification. So when we use, for instance, the design already published by, for instance, by Dickey and Carey, so we have to refer to the reference. But when we already modify, we have to explain also the reference, the source, and also explain that this design already modified by the writer. So this is the part of the method or material. And result in discussion, some of author, they usually you write about in library research or article review or book article review. So in writing the research article, they will write like writing the library research. So in this part, result in this discussion, we will find some author, they directly discuss about theories. They didn't put those theories in the literature review, but in the findings and or result and discussion, they discuss some theories. So this is because they usually write library research. But when we write a research article or scientific article, we have to aim with our result. For instance, when we when we employ the observation and questionnaire or interview in our studies, so in this part we have to present the data gained from the observation, the data gained from the questionnaire, and also from the interview. Then we try to elaborate the findings, those core findings from our data with previous related finding, and then we try to conclude or summarize based from the author perspective. So the research result must be concise and clear, of course. The discussion should explore the importance of the result, not repeat them. And result and discussion sections can be also be combined into one sub. It means that some journal require the result in other part and discussion in other part. Some of the journal they require result and discussion in one part. and then avoiding extensive citation and discussion of published literature. So try to be focused in our result and then try to drawing our conclusion. Yeah, this is the result and discussion part. And then about the conclusion of our article. So we have to write the main conclusion of the study. It can be presented in brief conclusion section, which can stand alone or from a subsection of the discussion or result. And discussion section, it means that when we discuss something in the subtopic of discussion, uh, then the author summarize the discussion, the finding. The author summarize the data, not put those summarized in the conclusion section. And then
Dr. Said, I think so. We have a network drop on your side. Yes. It seems he had a network failure or something. Professor Israr, I think so. You can continue ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Sayyidina. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Pastor Douglas, Dean of College of Computer Studies, University of Public Health System, Delta, Philippines. Please, Dr. Pastor Douglas.
Dr. Pastor, before you commence, for the audience and the attendees, due to the shortage of time, definitely we are still going to keep Q&A session also. So exercise patience, definitely. We will be permitting all the attendees to ask their questions as well after the end of the speech. So please be patient, be connected, and Q&A session will be there for sure. Pastor, you can continue, please, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Good evening here in the Philippines, and it might be still good morning in Nigeria. And I am humbled and honored to be invited as a resource person in this one-day online workshop on article publication in reputable journals organized by Mewar International University in Nigeria. And of course, it's been a great privilege to be here with you before this particular seminar or workshop. Thank you for the invitation, Mewar International University. Please allow me to present the slides of my presentation. Okay. Can somebody acknowledge that my presentation is already
Yes, we can view it.
okay? Thank you so much, sir. Well, this is very significant or important because in every as I have listened to our honored guest, the first speaker from Indonesia. This is really a very good presentation because all these research articles, writing of research articles in any field of study should actually go with that particular standards, including, of course, the research process with software development hard and soft computing approach. So I've been I've been a software engineer for many years before I landed again to academic industry, and I know significantly how the standards works in terms of software engineering or software development. And that's why this process in the industry would also be the same process in terms of developing a research project in capstone, or just even in, in applied or in developmental research, like in information technology and computer science. Now, again, I am Pastor Aguilas Jr., the Dean of the College of Computer Studies of University of Perpetual Help System Delta in the Philippines. So the presentation outline that I have here with me is just composed of the software development process, the ISO 25010 of year 2011, and the CMMI. So these are the three important things, or the important and significant things that we have to really understand on how we could actually work with a standard process of software development and to embed it to research. Now, the software development process before that is to discuss what's exactly the difference of the hard and soft computing. So the soft computing, it could be computing model developed or involved to resolve, of course, the nonlinear issues that involve unsure, imprecise, and even approximate, solutions of a tangle. So these sorts of issues are actually a short square measure thought of a real life issues wherever the human-like intelligence needed to resolve it. It's more on business-like approach, and the hard computing deals with, of course, the binary and crypt logic that needs precise input file consecutive. So it defines on different actions to be done, just like in mathematical model, in algorithmic rule, or in some other ways of applying algorithms for that matter. So that the software development, it's just a way on processing a framework in terms of providing the structural plan, the control of the process of developing information system, and it's a wide variety of standards that use in terms of framework over the years, and it's been processed, it's been practiced over the years. So these are several different approaches to software development, and some take more structured engineering-based approach, and therefore most methodologies share some combinations in terms of following stages of software development. And those are, of course, number one would be identification of need. So definitely the identification of needs works on the ideas for software products. These are usually first evaluated by marketing personnel for economic visibility. And this is very important to actually channel the distribution of possible effects of existing product lines. Because software development may involve, of course, compromising or going beyond what is required by your respective client whenever you are developing a capstone project. So a capstone project, it could be a client-based approach, or it could be a non-client-based approach. So just like other research approach, a non-client-based approach would be generic. It could be universal. It could be an identical approach that you have to establish in a wide framework of information. Unlike the what we call the client-based, you're going to you're going to rely on the information of the respective company or client of your software development. And next would be planning. The planning is just an objective of each and every activity. So where we want to discover things, the group should belong, works belong to the project. And an important task in creating a software program is extracting the requirements or requirements analysis. So this is very important because the skilled and experienced software engineers or developers would actually recognize incomplete, ambiguous, or even contradictory requirements at this point. So frequently, demonstrating the planning or the live code may help reduce the risk that the requirements are incorrect. So once the general requirements are gathered from a particular client of your project, an analysis of the scope of the development should be determined and clearly stated. So that is for planning. Third should be designing. This is exactly the software design or the system design. So definitely, once the requirements are established, the design of the software can be established in software design document. So this involves a preliminary high-level design of the main modules, such as the block diagram, the data flow diagram, even the software flow chart, the system flow chart, or even just the back end or the data dictionary, and a lot more. So for those of you who are experienced in terms of software development, these particular terminologies that could be, well versed in terms of knowing some parts of it that could actually fit together. So the language of it should be in operating system, it could be in hardware components, or it could be it could be known at this time, and it could also be part of prototyping or just proof of concept or to firm up requirements. Fourth would be the coding, testing, and documenting. So this is very important that in terms of coding, part of the implementation of the process where software engineers actually program the code the project. So software testing also part of integral and important phase of software development process, because in this process it ensures that defects are recognized as soon as possible. When you say defect, these are the troubles of the software that in terms of testing you would face this, so that you can have some time to connect with the correction of the defects of the software. And next would be the documenting the internal design software. What is all about this? So the purpose of the future maintenance looks like the enhancement should be done throughout the development. So this may include on the API or in terms of internal or external approach. So in the software engineering process chosen by the developing team, it could also be it should also be determined on how these things will work in the internal documentation. Now, the deployment and the maintenance. So it starts directly directly after the code has been appropriately tested. So it is an approved thing to release something on distribution or in the production environment. In other words, this may involve installation of the software, and then the testing, support, and so on. So the software training support should also be part of the deployment and the maintenance, because in this scope, it is just purely discovered faults or requirements that can substantiate time and effort or just miss requirements in terms of redesigning of the software. So that's exactly how these activities are working as far as the capstone project and the research environment is concerned. This is purely on the software development aspect, after which all this conceptual design, theoretical framework, objectives are already established. So this is purely on the software development phase already. So these are the view models that work on the the software perspective. So we have the view model of the business process and data modeling, and this is just part of illustrations of the functions associated with the business process and the data computer aided software development. This is a computer aided software engineering. This is a scientific application on set of software tools and methods to the development of software, which results to high quality or even detected free and maintainable software products. One would be the integrated development environment. So what we call software engineering should have this IDE. So these are the one of those examples would be, of course, if you're using Python, C++, and even C# or in any platform or IDE for that matter. Next would be the modeling languages. So this is exactly an artificial language that can be used to actually express the information or knowledge system structure. And these are, it is used in terms of providing the business process modeling notation. Like, for example, for those of you who are using the EML, the XML, and those are part of the developing modeling language that are attributes to the main component of software development structure. Next would be the programming paradigm. So this is a fundamental style of computer programming, which is not exactly dictated to project management methodology like the waterfall or even the agile. So these are paradigms that differ in the concepts of abstractions used to represent elements such as objects, variables, and so forth and so on. Now, the reuse of solutions, this is a process of creating a software from predefined approach or software components. So a software reuse components would look like, of course, increasing or even just maximizing the use of existing software artifacts in the software development lifecycle. And the software development lifecycle is a methodology. It's a methodology that all software developer, in particular to research development, should be followed strictly. Why? Because if you lost your path or stage in following software development approach or lifecycle model, it could lead to defect or error that could actually compromise the objective of the study. So therefore, it is very important to strictly follow the software development lifecycle model that the software team or the research team should approach or should apply in the development process. Now, next would be, there are four important or four significant software development lifecycle model that is being used not only in the industry, on the IT industry, but as well as in the academic industry as far as research is concerned. One is the agile development. So what is this agile development? It is only just composed of four or three phases that just overruns to minimize risk, such as bugs, costs, overruns, and changing environments. So when adding new functionality in all agile methods, teams develop a software iterations that contain mini increments of the new functionalities. There are many different forms of the agile methodology. It could actually include Scrum or just Crystal or extreme programming, and even the feature-driven programming. So what's the advantage of using agile? So the benefit of using agile approach is that it allows software to be released in iterations. And it means that when iterative releases to improve efficiency by allowing terms and fix the defects, as I have mentioned a while ago from the previous stages or previous slides, removing of defects are really important. So that they could actually allow users to realize software benefits earlier and with frequent incremental improvements. But the only disadvantage of using this is that it looks fully complete, or it just looks like lack of documentation that they need to get up to speed. Just like rapid application development, it needs manpower that should have a good understanding, skills as far as development or software development is concerned. Because we only have 3 stages, so therefore it should be fast-facing stages. Next would be the DevOps development methodology. So the DevOps development methodology is focused on improving time to market, in lowering the failure rate of the new releases, shortening the lead time between fixes. So there are companies that use DevOps methods, or even the research teams use the DevOps that actually benefit by significantly reducing the time to market, improving customer satisfaction. It is very important that in research, we have to focus on customer satisfaction. Whenever you have this particular customer satisfaction, there is a big probability that the development of the product itself would actually be implemented or used. And of course, the product team will have a successful product or successful research project output. So only the consequence of this is that some customers don't want continuous updates to their system. And definitely some industries have regulations that require extensive testing before a project can move to the operations phase, and so forth and so on. So, and also some of the end users in the company doesn't like do not like or do not want to use the DevOps because it's just a continuous update of technology. And for those who are not techie, for those who are not technology oriented, definitely they will hate to use the DevOps because DevOps should allow, or rather allows the development team and the target customer or the target user of the project with, of course, human uh, you know, pipeline of it. Okay, so I will continue and then we'll proceed with the next stage, which is the waterfall methodology. So this is the most traditional approach of software development. Why? Because even in just in the classroom, it is being used, it is being discussed, it is being taught by the teacher. And the linear nature of the waterfall development method makes it easy to understand and manage. And the projects with clear objectives and stable requirements of the study or research study can be used, and the best to use is the waterfall. The only thing that waterfall could actually imagine to compromise the time is it will be, the time frame exactly will slow and costly. Why? Because of whenever you have this stage of requirements to design to implementation, verification and maintenance. If you can see this, you have no time to go back to the requirements. If you're done with the requirements, the research team should be able to finish the requirements 100%. So that when you proceed to the next phase, which is design, everything's in place. Unlike other software development model of research development, there's always a time to go back with the previous stage, and it's called verification or even validation. Whether asking the question, are you doing the right thing or are you doing the right way? But in waterfall, there's nothing to be done by there's nothing to be processed as far as verification or validation is concerned, because the approach is 100% requirements before you go to design, 100% design before you go to implementation, 100% implementation requirements before you go to the verification, and 100% verification before you go to the maintenance, so that everything should be perfect. But this model is really a long process as far as software development life cycle or software development process is concerned. Next would be the rapid application development. So what's all about this? The rapid application development, just like an agile, they are familiar to each other, because rapid application development contains just 4 phases, and it is planning, user design, construction, and cutover. So these are, the process of rapid application development is most effective for projects with a well-defined business objective or research objective and a clearly defined user group, which are not computationally complex. Thus, like rapid application development, it is used to small to medium projects that are time sensitive. The only thing is that a rapid application development requires stable team composition. So when you say team composition or team research composition, it needs a highly skilled developers or researchers and users who are deeply knowledgeable about application area. So using the rapid application development, one thing that you could actually reduce is the cost. No, the cost of the time, okay, the cost of the money that you have to put in this project or in this research project. Now, this is also important. The next topic will also be important in providing or just having a good output and a good to be exactly publishable, to follow the ISO 25010. 25010 is about a software quality assurance. So it is working exactly with the 3 components: the systems and the software engineering. So definitely, to give you a background, the ISO 25010 is about systems and software engineering. So this is about software quality requirements and evaluations, or the square, and also the system software quality models. So these are the important things that ISO 250/2011 is talking about. This is purely about software quality assurance. Therefore, these are the under quality characteristics of 25010. So basically, in the research project, not only for students, but also with professional research project, these are the things or quality characteristics that we have to understand, because this is important, because we want to have a quality output of our research project to be published, so that we can avoid future problem, or in terms of running the defect, the functionality defect, or the functionality testing, etc., etc. So these are important to understand by each researcher in that will undergo soft or capstone project or application project development. So next would be, of course, these standards is actually addressing the well-known human biases that can be adversely affect the delivery and perception of a software development project. So the quality model presented is actually classifies software quality as structured with different characteristics, no? And those are being stated with portability and a lot portability, quality, existence, maintainability, efficiency, and support, and so on. Now, the next would be the CMMI quality projects or frameworks, or commonly known as the Capability Maturity Model Integration. So this is a proven industry framework to improve the product quality and development efficiency for both hardware and software. So for those who are working with system, this is appropriate to use as far as quality assurance of hardware and software technology. Okay, a while ago, I was mentioning about software quality assurance because it needs ISO 25010 of 2011. But if you have a research project that is composed of hardware and software, CMMI is very significant to use because it has 5 levels. No, many companies have been there are so many companies in the world, no, with their research project team that are using CMMI. One of those is Motorola, Ericsson, and a lot more in the especially in the computer device industry. No, they are using this because they have hardware, they have the software. Okay, now, so this CMMI provides a way of focus and manage hardware and the software development product. And actually, this is have interfaces and TLR complementary. And this is a process of improvement model. Also, the behavioral changes are needed at both management and staff levels. It increased personal accountability under behavioral changes. And even the initially of lot of investment required. So these are the 3 important things that actually CMMI can help with it, with your research project. So these are the 5 models that I was mentioning. First would be the initial. No, when I was in the industry, in the IT industry as a software engineer, we long time ago. That was long time ago. We are on the level 3. My company is on the level 3, so that our prospective research team can actually deliver the project or the research project or the development output of that particular project in a way that it is 100% deliverable. Now, the number 1 level should be initial. It process unpredictable, fully controlled, reactive. Should be number 2. Level 2 is process or unplanned, documented, performed, and monitored exactly and controlled the project level. The 3rd level should process our well characteristics and understood the process standards, procedures, and support, and so on. The level 4, it process exactly the controlled of using a statistical and other quantitative techniques. And number 5 should be process performance continually improved through incremental and innovative technological improvements. So these are the 5 levels of maturity as far as the capability maturity model integration is concerned. Why? Because they are performing standards approach in providing a high quality hardware and software product. This is very important as far as process of research project is concerned. And these are definitely the process areas of CMMI. In terms of initial, or it's composed of project management, engineering, process management, and support. Even it is just technical in nature, it works exactly on how each stage can provide a quality and efficient technology in system and hardware technology. Okay, I think that's all for my discussion. Thank you so much, sir. Back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Mutman as Assistant Professor, Department of English, University Al Azhar, Mandar, Indonesia. Please.
Thank you so much, Professor. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start my presentation, I want to say thank you very much to my dear Professor Muhammad Israel for having me and invite us as a speaker in this wonderful international workshop on research. And then I want to say thank you very much to the Nigerian, to the Mewar International Counselor, Engineering Samarkand, and also Professor Dr. Nel Megang, Professor Dr. Abud Hamid Al-Sawawi, and all of the participants, academicians, and all of the keynote speakers who are attending in this wonderful event. Allow me to share my screen. I know my time only 30 minutes to share about this workshop about the article. Okay, let me introduce a little bit myself. My name is Mutmainna, and you can call me Nina. I am lecturer in the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education at my university, Universitas Al Azhar Mandar in Indonesia. And this is some of my national and international organization, and also my research identity. I hope you can feel free to cite my article over there, my publication. Well, my topic today, I want to share to you about the importance of research. Mean that here research and development perspective. I know that there are so many the kind of research and also the good research. This is one of the way to us to publish our research. And then today we are going to discuss about 3 topics. Research and mankind, or this is community, research and development in education, creating and designing fundamental material. Yeah. For the first one, we are talking about right now the phenomena, and this is the still highlight phenomena in education. And also you can start your writing your article with this one of from 5 the highlight issue on the educational sector. And based on my interpretation, my opinion, and I divide it into the 5 the biggest issue right now in the digital transformation on educational sector. I share my experience with you, all of you who are attending in this wonderful event about on educational sector and research and development itself. Yeah, the first one about artificial intelligence in education, and I know all of us here familiar with this software. Yeah, because this tool and this is the software that students use to learn. Right now, there's so many application that they can be downloaded from Play Store, and they can be learned more better by using this artificial intelligence, for example. Education transformation, there are so many the problem when we are going to remote our teaching, and then we are manage our classroom in the virtual classroom, and then our distance education, and also because of the pandemic era, the pandemic COVID-19, this is we must be adapt with this new habit, new culture, ICT culture, information communication and technology. I think all of us here, as we are educators, we are academicians, right now in our mind about education, about the technology, and then how we are manage our classroom with the, and how we are engage our students to be more, they are motivated, have good motivation, high motivation to joining our classroom. Virtual or face-to-face, or namely right now, the trend is a hybrid or blended learning environment. And of course, if we wanted to manage our classroom into the smart digital classroom management, this is so many rich that we can be used as your topic of your article, of your research. And then you can be break down your novelty and write a good paper with this phenomenon of the situation. About quantum learning, quantum teaching, and quantum technology. There's so many right now we identify when we are in the pandemic situation, so many problems faced with the educator, not only for educator, also the student, how to teach, how to learn, and how to use and combine this technology in our learning. And for educator, to their teaching activities. And this condition mobilize e-learning. Right now we are connected globally, and also mobile learning, this is being a digital support, everything by internet. But what about if the student or the educator don't have internet connection? So this is the problem in another side. We must training and introduce them to have the experience how we use the technology, because the technology this is how must they know, because this one, if they have the experience with the so many, they know so many technology or media, it will be help them for their next future career. And then about the accelerated learning, of course, about integrating technology or combine between technology in our daily activities, not only in learning and teaching process, but everything handled by the internet, and we can go anywhere, anytime with this virtual meeting like today's. We are meet in Nigeria, my time we are now evening here and you are till in the morning. I think this is a good a collaboration when we wanted to share everything together and sharing all of us, sharing to all of us. And then cybergogi, I think this is a good idea if you wanted to doing some research or writing an article about the cybergogi. The cybergogi, this is when you are combined between pedagogy and the technology. This is not only about the technology itself and the pedagogy itself, but also about the metacognitive skill, knowing how to learn. Still more a little bit of researcher doing research about the metacognitive skill, and you can find it in Google. So many right now just share about the social media, and then yeah, you know that the student right now and the social media we can be used in our learning and teaching process as a tool or as a media. Digital vaccine, right now we are in the society 5.0. So many of us are familiar with the internet and have a smartphone. And then we are in industry revolution 4.0. And we must be help our students how they are, the way they are thinking must be more creative and innovative or doing collaboration. And also this is a good point if you wanted to do the research for this 21st century skill or the higher order thinking skill. How you can be doing in the classroom or implementation this technology to collaborate between the technology, the pedagogy, and 21st century skill. And this is a good, I think this is a good novelty if you want to do the next research for this condition, for this topic. And let's have a look on education. Still, again, this is the mission of recovery education. And also in Indonesia, we have the policy, namely Merdeka Belajar or freedom to learn. And this is, we do really hope this policy will be help for educator and the student to be more active in the classroom. And yeah, of course, about the technology. Indonesia also, most of the educators in Indonesia, they are low skill, low competent about this technology or literacy skill. They are still very low. I don't know what is the problem, but some of the research give the statement they are in the comfort zone. They don't wanna doing the creativity anymore. So that's why our Ministry of Education have launching so many programs for our teacher, and how they are have a good motivation to do this, namely how they are have the new model, the new method to engage their student in the class, hybrid or virtual or face-to-face. So come back again with the research and mankind. So we must be identify the function of the research that we know that this is the research about the gather information. We are sharing the information, and we get the problem solving about our situation, our problem. And also the function of the research also, this is provide the phenomena and the planning, the decision making, and then a project implementation and evaluation. So we know that there are so many research, but related to the research and development, this is still rare to do the research on based on this research and development. Yeah, your research will be, yeah, of course, you can publish into article in the good journal. in magazine, and also you can have a new product on education. The relationship, you know that the development of society, this is the complex, and then we have so many variety of problems. And also in Indonesia, the problem right now may be same with another country in Asia. We are still fighting how we are giving training with our teacher about the designing and creating the instructional design or creating the activities in the classroom to engage more the student. So I want to share again about, and also I want to introduce to you about research and development in education, because my area in education, maybe this is a little bit know about R&D or research and development. And research and development, this is a process how to develop and validate educational product. Actually, this is the sometimes this is called a research-based development, and then this is also the basic research to use to increase educational practice. And also R&D is benefit to product coaching skill model as before. What is the educational product? So yeah, this is you cannot be designing the new specific curriculum, like in Indonesia right now. Our ministry launching the new curriculum, namely freedom to learn. And for example, and also you can create a new method. Doing innovation, you are create a new teaching model or educational media or textbook or a module. This is the product of education, and then you can share it how you are designing everything based on the student want, the student need, and the student like. This is the main point of research and development. Everything we are designing not based on the theory, not based on book to books. We collect so many books and we are writing our book, our new book. Not a simple like that. But R&D, this is we are developing our product based on the finding, based on our research itself. And also we must doing some of the testing before we are launching or dissemination our product. For example, if you want to write a new books or a new textbook, this is related based on the student, your student want. So how we can identify what is actually the student want. This is step by step of the R&D flowchart. Actually, there are 10 steps you must do before you are dissemination your product. The first one you need, the first thing to do, research and information collection. I think this is same with another research like quantitative or qualitative methodology. In R&D also, you must collecting your information by using questionnaire or interview to identify what is actually your student characteristic, your student learning style, and then what is actually they want. This is the student one, not the teacher one. So I hope all of you understanding the basic foundation of R&D, everything our product based on our research finding or our student want. In the planning, what we should do in the planning? In the planning, we can be designing our lesson plan or our syllabus and develop preliminary form of the product or the prototype. And then we must testing in the a small group. Maybe this is only 15 students. After we our prototype, maybe this is only 3 chapters from our book. we can doing the revision after we are testing in the classroom. And again, we are after we are a revision, we are testing in the big classroom again. So until you are dissemination and implementation your product. Yeah, for example, book, because actually I have development my material based on the student want, the student need related to the books. I develop books here. So what is Assure model? Assure model, this is developed by Heinrich and Melinda. And also this is the instructional system design. Maybe you can adapt how you do this, develop your product, develop your teaching material or teaching activities. So Assure, this is from acronym from Analyze, Learn that I have mentioned before. You must know who are your audience, and you must identify their learning style, their characteristic, set the objective, and you must know about what is actually your student need to learn. This is, you must be doing discussion and collaboration with your student in the first meeting before you are start to designing your syllabus or your lesson plan. After that, you can select media and the material. Come back again to select method and media or material. This is come back with your student condition. I mean that here, if your student in the low bandwidth or low internet connection, maybe you can use the familiar tools like by using only WhatsApp. This is available for low bandwidth. And utilize media material, require learner participation in the discussion. For example, you can use, this is one of the teaching model like a project-based learning, and in the end of the semester, you can doing the reflection about your product. Yeah, this is the example of the my questionnaire before I am developing my material by using a film. Why film? Because the student want the material from film or from YouTube. This is just for example. And let's have a look the condition right now in the world. Mostly the people in the world right now familiar with this social media like Facebook and YouTube, WhatsApp. And you can also identify the problem and the challenge by using Facebook as a media or as a teaching material. So the social media also in Indonesia, we come back again related to Indonesian characteristic, and I believe my student also in this category, in this characteristic, most of them, they are familiar by using YouTube. So that's why when I give them the questionnaire, most of them choose the material, everything by a film or by using YouTube. So we must designing our material by using YouTube. This is for example. So again, the potential audience in Indonesia also by using YouTube. There's so many, mostly the student, they wanna be the material by using YouTube. Maybe I will end my presentation. So this is the example of my product, education product, and you can also Googling and download it, my books, and all of this book, the topic in this book from the student one. They wanna by using film, by using song, the material, because I'm teaching English, so everything, all of the material we are designing by student one, from the student one. So this is everything my product. So the example of if you will use the film, this is the example of the material by using film. You are play this film that actually it will be help your student to achieve the higher order thinking skill from remember, understanding, remember, analyze, applying, creating, and evaluating. And this is actually help you to help your student to achieve the higher order thinking skill. And how film will engage your student to be more active in your classroom. This is the example by using film, and then from the film we are break down into the material in our in the books. And this is the file of the books, and you can you can download it, my book, and everything the material from the film, for example. So when I experiment in the classroom by using this film and everything, the material on the student smartphone. Yeah, they are very active and they are use this smartphone. So designing and creating containment material, I have only 3 minutes. I just only want to share to you about why we must change the way we are teaching, because we know that the students, they are different with us, and we must accept it and teach differently. And also we must know what is actually our student characteristic. I think this is will be a good article for you if you wanted to identify, and then you wanted to creating a new product based on your subject or your material. This is the example by funtainment or education and entertainment. I think my time is a limit. Maybe we can be discussed in another time. So my article, this is from in magazine. I have launching about the funtainment. You can get it this magazine. I will share to you. And funtainment actually really help for the student and have impact for the student 21st century skill, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creative. And this is, for example, namely virtual reality, some of the technology and the social media that actually help your student to be more engaged in your learning and teaching process. Some of the tools that actually really help you, and maybe your student asking you why we must know so many technology, because the technology have their purpose. Like in communication, you can use, for example, Facebook, and another skill you can develop. And in the example of artificial intelligence, Padlet, and this is in my classroom when I use artificial intelligence. Yeah. And also not only that, oh, sorry. Yeah. By online informal learning application. This is actually the application you can be downloaded in the Google Play Store. Yeah. And then virtual reality. This is my class. And yeah, you see that when we are use this technology, most of the students, they are very active in the classroom. So what about if the student don't have internet connection? Nothing can stop education. You can still doing without internet connection. Yeah, this is the last. Technology will not replace the teacher, and I believe that teacher who use technology will probably replace those who don't use the technology. We use technology to make our learning and teaching process to be more active, effective, practice, and efficient. Thank you for having me and listening to me. Yeah, 13 minutes, I know. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for having me and listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Mutmana, for your valuable lecture. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Sovik Ganguly, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Instrumentation Engineering, Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Punjab, India. Please, Dr. Sovik Ganguly, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Should I start? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes,
ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible to you? Is my screen visible to all of you, to the participants? Oh, fine. So I'll take you through a different league, of course. And what is our motto today? We need to have a workshop where we learn something about how to publish in some top or reputable academic journals. So for this, my presentation will be based on a few things that relates to publication, that relates to how we'll choose a journal, how will we frame our topic, how we will decide our sections for a particular journal paper, and finally, what are the do's and what are the don'ts that we are going to take up. So in my next 30 minutes time, I will be consuming most of them through discussions, and we would like to have some interactions at the end as well. So before we start writing anything for a research article, we need to understand few things, that what will be our topic for our research article, what should be the motivation of my work, what new ideas or what creativity or what novelty that it generates, and what are the requirements, what are the societal impacts that we also need to know, and what else is my option at hand. Say, for example, whether we would like to do some work, since I'm an engineer, whether I'd like to have a hardware implementation supported by simulation, or whether it will be totally a simulation based work. So based on this, we must understand the theme, the motivation, the requirements, and finally deciding the options that we have in our laboratory setup or in our simulation softwares that we are engaging for our publications. After that comes the next important part, is that how do we choose a particular journal, right? So, and of course, when we are choosing a journal, what type of options do we have? What are my publication options? Whether I would like to have my readers freely available from the day of my publishing. So that means we want to, whether we would like to have some open access options, whether your journal is having any article processing fee, right? So there are several reputed journals who are having article processing fees or open access. Even Nature, one of the top rated scientific journals, they are having open access fee. So definitely we need to take into account this particular part, that what our research will lead to, what our journal paper will lead to. Then we must also talk to our colleagues, our collaborators who are engaged in our work, and understand how your publication will be assessed. Potential journals, of course, most important of all while choosing the journal. Say, for example, I want to write a paper on artificial intelligence, and I'm sending them to a journal which discusses some of the aspects related to electrical engineering. So it doesn't fit in. So obviously, what are my potential journals? What are the potential areas in which we would like to send our research articles to? And finally, the most important of all is to carefully read the aims and scope of the journal. Each of the journals, we must go through thoroughly the aim and scope and try to understand that whether my journal paper or journal article which we are proposing to write fits in those aim and scope of that particular journal. If we recently had received some comments from the reviewers which we sent to a journal related to computer and chemical engineering, but they were not aware, since we were from the background of electrical engineering, so they were not aware of some topologies, some commonly used terms in electrical engineering. So likewise, we received some comments that were not relevant from the perspective of electrical engineering, but from the perspective of chemical people. They are correct in noting us that what does this statement mean? We could not follow it. And that's why the paper got rejected. So you must also go through the aim and scope of the journal and select the potential journals before submitting the article. So next, This is absolutely, these are going on in the market, absolutely some frauds, some malpractices related to publications, bringing about publications within 45 days, bringing about publications in the next 60 days. Some predatory services are also taking place. Every day we are getting some WhatsApp message, WhatsApp calls, and Facebook messages, Facebook posts. Some groups have been formed, early publication. So several websites are also there. There are predatory journals as well. So do not fall into this subject, do not get into these type of temptations, I should say. You cannot resist those temptations. Every time they are coming out, so and so authors are available. If you these are booked, these author positions are booked, and these so and so author positions are available. So several times we have to sometimes block them from the Facebook accounts. Sometimes we need to block their accounts from their WhatsApp as well. Sometimes we get into the WhatsApp group of their research, what they are calling it as a research, but they are not doing no research work at all. They are simply manipulating the things, manipulating the results, and they are trying to bring out some publications which will not be long lasting enough. So definitely some fake reviews, some misleading or incorrect information, some predatory services, like we are going for some professional services. We are providing some support, PhD assistance. This is in India, we call it PhD assistance. Every time we get a call from some call center that do you require PhD assistance or something of that sort, do not fall into this trap. It may be time taking, but someday or the other you will be able to publish your own authentic work. So never get associated with such fraud and malpractices that are taking place. Always submit your article yourself or through your supervisor. If your collaborators, through your supervisors whom you know, only make correspondence through them and them only. After that, this is another malpractice that we would like to highlight upon, that you should always submit one journal, means one research article for a particular journal, and not doing parallel submissions. So this is also strictly, this should be followed. When should I go in for duplicate submission? Say for example, I have published a conference paper, I have presented in the conference, and some part of the work may be associated and which we are expanding in the form of a research article that should be submitted in a journal paper. But those similarity checks should always be carried out. So when we have we want to have some sort of repository, some sort of a preprint, say for example Research Square, these sort of organizations are coming with a preprint, archiving your paper. If it is if you feel that my discovery or that my scientific work is should be immediately be published, then you go for the duplicate submission. Otherwise, don't go for it. Don't go for the duplicate submission, and don't do parallel submission of a single paper in a particular journal. It may be going to a similar reviewer, because the reviewers are selected based on the expertise of their work, right? So you may be getting the mails from the editorial office that you have made a parallel submission. So this should not take place at all. Duplicate submission is unacceptable. Regarding the originality of your work, definitely several persons, several editorial offices, they are doing plagiarism check before their articles are being processed. And two of the commonly used softwares that we use, one is Turnitin, the other is iAuthenticate. These are the commonly used software, so preferably do not copy paste from anywhere. So this is another important thing. It may include contents from your books, from any websites, or any journal article, or any conference article as well. So we need to recycle your text. We need to excessive or repetitive use of some own work should be avoided. And we can also mention those data in a different pattern, and that leads to some distortion of the scientific records as well. So originality of the work should be maintained. It is better to avoid the recycling of the work, or better to expand that particular work, or better to represent it in a different way so that you don't get the objection for plagiarism. Now, some basic steps which we normally follow, it is a very parent step that we used to take in our childhood days as well. Read a lot means we have to say, for example, if you are selecting a particular topic, if you are writing on a particular topic, preferably we go through some 30-40 articles, right, to look out. It's a detailed literature survey that we need to look out for. We need to find out the literature gaps, gaps in the study, gaps in the research, and we need to identify our novelty of your work. So read a lot, write first, and this is another important step. Do not start editing immediately. You first prepare the skeleton of the draft, the initial draft, and then we go for the editing part, and have to keep it simple and to not express your ideas complicatedly so that it is not understandable by your reviewers as well. So choice of sentence, its length and its variation, use of passive voice, these are commonly used aspects in preparing your manuscript. And you have to tell a story. You have to tell a story, and you have to make your story sellable to your readers, to your reviewers initially. So this is how we go about it, and it must be consistent. It must have an ease of flow, right? These are some of the common techniques that we follow for preparing the sections of your manuscript. The first is the introduction section. We will talk about that, how or what are the requirements of my introduction. And preferably, I go for an extra section in the form of problem formulation, where we declare that what are my assumptions, what are my problems, and how do I tackle those problems. And then we discuss the methodology in section 3. But you may also include problem statement as well as the method, or the proposed method, or the proposed technique in section 2 as well. Results and discussions, few may include in a single section, inclusion of results and discussions. And finally, you need to conclude and also specify some future scope of work. Coming to the introduction section, we are going to focus on few aspects, and then we will also discuss about that how will I go for what are the different steps of the review process, and how will I get my papers finally verified through the reviewers and get it published. So before that, we must understand that what is my problem, what is my question at hand, what problem am I addressing. So that should be mentioned clearly or thoroughly in your introduction section. You must give a hypothesis or give some arguments, and you must also prepare some roadmap for which will go through in your subsequent sections. So another important thing that you must emphasize upon, that while you are writing, while you are having the manuscript getting ready, you must also share your work with your colleagues, with your collaborators. Share it in share some of the research ideas in some conferences. May not the comprehensive research ideas, but simply giving a research idea and get a feedback from the different audiences that whether your research ideas are acceptable by them or not. Some preprint where you can get some feedbacks from some academic networking sites that are there, where from you can also get some feedbacks. Say, for example, you can put up some question, you can put up some research idea, you can put up some project titles in your research gate, and get some idea regarding these sort of crucial feedback if you want to implement. Some writing groups you may create. You may have your own writing groups, your collaborators group or your colleague group with which you are working on. So this is how you can take your feedback. Another important thing, people are these days neglecting the conferences. Conference is a very good idea of showcasing your work, your research ideas or new research ideas. Normally we participate in the conference to get some new research ideas in our own field. So it is a very important interaction session that may take through, and you will get some good research ideas, and from where you can generate your own research skills. Coming to the submission process, you must make sure that your manuscript file, your tables, your figures, and any other data files that are associated with your manuscript must be ready at the time of your submission. If you are using any copyrighted images or any data, definitely you have to seek permission and have to provide the copyrighted part with respect to any. This is mostly applicable in the books where you have issues regarding copying some images from or some data from other resources. So where we can have some copyright issues. Email addresses. So you must always mention the email addresses of the co-authors and their names, correct spelling. We must ensure them as well at the time of the submission, and agreement with the co-authors while they are publishing, and their choices, their responsibilities, and we must also send the correct version of the paper. It's not that it has been uploaded in the online submission system and later on you will find that there are plenty of grammatical and spelling mistakes as well. So this is how we go about it. We will quickly go through some of the types of review that we are calling it single blind review or anonymous reviews. Some double blinded reviews are there, and also open peer reviews are also available. So we will not focus on this part too much. Rather, we should understand that what are the different stages of our review process. So we can get some desk rejections initially from the editorial office itself if it is not of sufficient quality, if it is not fitting into the aim and scope of the journal, if it has got some public plagiarism issues, definitely they will. Otherwise, they will go for the review process, and in which the reviewers will suggest you something, some decisions they will give to the editorial team, and based on which you will get some revision, which you require amendments, and this will be further be verified by your reviewers, and then your final decision will be reached. So we can get revise and resubmit decision, you can get minor revisions, you can get accept, and the most horrifying is your rejection. So we too, I don't think that we don't get rejections. We also get rejections at any point of time. This week also we got rejections. So rejections are a part of your publication process. So not to bother too much about rejections from comments, from several inputs from different reviewers. We also learn something new, and it's a learning process as well. So making it responding to your reviewer comments, how you should be cordial, how should you address each and every comment, how should you carefully read your decision letter and consult with your co-authors or collaborators, and break down the comments categorically, and you must also make the suggested amendments, try to address all the comments that has been if they are appropriate enough, if such that they are asking for something really that does not fit in your aim and scope of your paper, definitely mention that, and definitely put it in the form of a future scope of work that you would like to do. And if the reviewer has some misunderstanding or misunderstood, do rectify it politely. So after that, you must address your comments, you must review the response again and again, and to make sure that it is absolutely clear and devoid of any clarifications, and be professional, be respectful, be polite, be cordial. These are the terms that we are using, but sometimes it too matters. definitely you must remember that they are trying to help you to get the things published to the best of the best thing out of you. They're trying to get out the best thing out of you, and rather than showing the ego or tempo, something like that. So these are some of the important points that that being sent to you. If you are sending it to the wrong journal, definitely they will send you back. Not appropriate journal or a true journal. If your article size is too long or too short for publication, and if there is some convention or some academic writing, there is a problem, or there is a poor writing style, grammatical mistakes, punctuation error, contribution is not highlighted properly. In case it's a theoretical work, if it's a theoretical framework, it is not justified framework, and some unethical issues. Definitely I'd like not to highlight upon it, but still some, if there is some plagiarism issues, definitely they may be getting rejected. And you must always proofread your manuscript before you send it to the online submission systems. So these are some of my publications that you would like to see upon, and we are going on spontaneously, and we are having some good number of publications in recent time, for which I have been invited as a speaker for this workshop. We would like to thank Mewar International University, Nigeria, and the organizers for giving me an opportunity to present before you. And I hope that I'm done with. And thank you so much. If you have any queries, if you have any questions from the participants, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to our last speaker, Dr. Ahmad J. Ubaid, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Faculty of Computer Science and Mathematics, University of Kufa, Ibra. Please, sir. Ahmad, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Good
Yes.
evening to everybody. Thank you for inviting me to join this workshop. I'm respected all the organizing committee of this workshop, and happy to meet my friends and my colleagues in this international workshop. Today, I would like to share some, as we are working in the editorial board of some journals and conferences, I would like to share some knowledge and information that maybe it will be useful to attendees to be aware about some fake or maybe fraud publishers, or maybe some other fake journals. So let me share the presentation first, and you please confirm me if it is visible to you. Just a second, please. Okay, now I am sharing my screen.
Okay, okay.
I think the presentation is visible, please.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
So the presentation actually is divided in two sections. The first section is to how to be aware from predatory journals, and the second section is some advices for the for the editorial board members. So I will go fast within 30 minutes to illustrate all this information to our attendees in this workshop. The first thing, we have to think that the publication is not a simple process in the reputed journal. There are many steps we have to do with our colleagues, with our co-authors, to take care about our manuscript before we are submitting them, that manuscripts to be published in certain journals. So there is one simple word, actually the previous professor is talking about it, the predatory. Then the using of this word is just to give or got some attention from our attendees about the predatory. So the predatory means the journals that can publish any kinds of articles with made payments to them, maybe even with no peer review, with no comments, with no revision, with no everything. So this called this called actually is a predatory. There are two kinds of predatory like words we are using. One for publisher and the second one for like journals. So sorry. The next, let us go for the source of this words. Actually, the predatory journals or predatory names or topics, it actually is declared or defined by the scientist, Professor Jeffrey Pell in 2006. At that time, he just make a study for some publishers, a certain list of publishers, actually at that time, and he just used that words to describe or classify the publisher or journals that do not follow some international or maybe the standard principles for publishing the papers. Then in 2008, he just create a small list with a few publishers and journals and define his sources and his rules to how to identify the journal if it is be predatory or not. So let us go for the first list which it was created by Jeffrey Bell, professor, and that time it was created by him in the free blog, and later it was shifted to another list. And in that list, if we are visiting the URL that mentioned in these slides, we will see there, many journals and publishers listed there, and there also some explanation how that journals and publisher and why it was created there. There is some general rules to select the journal if it is predatory or not. Then how the structure of the website of Jabrable will be look like this screen where the three important things there like Hashgate and journals and publisher. If we are visiting this website, the Hashgate means there are some journals already duplicated a website of other journals and announce that we are like a publisher and we can publish some articles and so on. The journals we will find here a list of some predatory journals that listed by Jeffrey Pell. And the third one, the publisher also, there are many publishers. My voice is clear, please?
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. So the publishers also, thank you very much. So the publishers also, there are a wide list of publishers who already described by Jeffrey Bell as a blacklist. So the situation, before going to that, this is the website of Jeffrey Bell in the second version. There is first version and this is the second version, 2 URLs there. And you are free to access that one and watch all the list on the names of the journal that listed there. But how the journal become predatory? There are most important reasons to describe or to classify the journal as or publisher as a predator. The first one is by Jeffrey Bell itself and his role and his conditions and teams. The second is by academic and research centers. So many academic and institute universities actually monitor their public students or faculties member publications, and if their publication go or published in certain list, then it will be a list why that journal publish more than a number of articles from my institute. So, and individual users, maybe some of the users actually make a complaint for some journals because of maybe publication, because so many things there. And finally by the government. Why? Because so many governments also in countries monitor their payments their like people's payments. Where that payments it has been like sent, maybe it was sent to certain country, and they are check why that country received so much amount from our peoples or citizens. Then at that time, maybe if they are found some journals doing that, or publisher, maybe either they are, because so many countries also they are creating their own list and call that list is a blacklist, and also it's look like a Jeveribel list. Anyway, let us go for the other source of this website. Actually, we have seen that there is a contact information, so any people who can make a contact to that website or the team who working behind that, and either asking them about certain like question, or maybe complaint about certain journal. So this is the history of Jeveribel, where in 2011 there is only 18 publisher, and 2017 there is 1155. So according to that, at the current year, more than 3,000 or 4,000 publisher and journal actually listed there. So here is a comment of one famous person about the Jeveribel and his list, and I would like to go for some practical examples on this seminar. Let us check for this case study of two journals who these journals actually has the same names, the same information, the same editorial board information, and all these things. And let us go for one examples. Here, if we are check the contents on both websites, we will find that the same information it was listed in both websites, and there is different URL as you are find here. There is one URL and this is one URL. So according to that, how to identify which one is origin and which one is fake? So let us go for the next step and check both websites. We will find that both websites and both journals websites publish more than a number of articles from many countries like India, Iraq, from like other countries. But our standards rules that say if that journal information it was listed in Scopus or Simago, then it will be a Scopus or reputed journal. Let us go for that. So by checking the information on both websites, Scopus and SJR, which belongs to Simago. So after we are printing the ISSN, and we have seen there a web page, journal homepage there, and also journal homepage here. But if we are pressed this one, we will go to another website. But if we are pressed this one, we will go to another website. Why? Because we are all as we know, the SJR may be update. It will take at least 2 years time, or maybe 1 year time. But the updation in the Scopus review is take maybe 1 month maximum, or maybe 3 months maximum. And they are always updating their list for discontinued journals and all these things. But how to recognize which one original? Let us go for the next and call Scopus about this one. If they are documented this one, it means that journal should be reviewed and it should be verified. Because why? Because the papers that was published here, it should be indexed in their database. But once we are called them, as you can see here, they are mentioned that the other website is reputed, but we don't know why they are indexed this one. You just imagine that. Let us go for this one. Okay, they already linked this website to their page, but they are answer this one is reputed one. So according to their answer, you cannot recognize which one it's reputed and which one is fake one. So let us go for the Simago, and when we are pressed on that link, we are visiting this one, and after we explain the the information to them and show them the message, they are disable the comments. So with these kinds of situation, we cannot recognize, as you have seen here, we cannot recognize which one is fake and which one is origin. So let us go for another example about the fake, as you have seen here as example, because there is which answer is correct, we cannot find which answer is correct, and we cannot find from Scopus and Simago which one is origin. But we have to wait their the confirmation of bill list. If we are visiting the list and searching about the journal name in the predatory journals, we cannot find any information about the journal. But let us go for predatory publishers. We have seen that there is the name of publisher, it was listed there. And the second websites, when we are searching about it, like let us go and searching about Nadia publisher, the publisher of the second fake journals, and they are already mentioned there. The link it was and the publisher it was linked to the previous one. So means the predatory publishers, it means that the journal, even it was indexed, even it was fake, but there is some doubts about that journal, either for a peer review or maybe some other reasons. Let us go for another information that available on bill list, which has been listed there about the conferences, about the journals, about some other events, about the journal that indexed in some other indices like DOAJ or some other DOI, fake DOI, or some other information also. So by go to the challenges that addressed from Simago and the Scopus, we have seen that there is no centralization on the information that comes from the blacklist countries and the Scopus and Simago. Why? Because there is no concatenation among them, and each of them, they working in separate manner. Then the next example and case study, let us go for this journal. And this journal, there is no duplicated website on that journal itself. I am talking about 2019, 2020, in which this case study was captured at that time. And if you are search about the journal in the Scopus and the Simago and to press on the journal link, you will visit it both link. So it means you will visit the same website. Also, when you are searching about this journal over the internet or Google, you will not find any journal name with that one, because the hackers, they are select very good journals to be duplicated. And if we are check all the papers that published in the recent 2 years, means 2019 and 20, we have seen that there are more than 400 articles it was published there. Why? Because so many questions addressed to Scopus and Simago. Is this journal was indexed or not? It was reviewed or not? And they are answered that journal, it was good and it was indexed in our database or in our system. So after all those authors published their papers, and the Scopus removed the link from that for this journal, and they said this is a black journal or duplicated journal. But who can denote that those others about their publication? No one will care about that. And if we are searching also and bill list, we cannot find any information. Why? Because also the information in bill list is take sometimes to be updated there. Why? Because maybe some other sources also not available about that journal, and it will take maybe up to 1 year to be listed there. Let us go for this one also. This is one example about the journal also. It was indexed in Scopus, and later it was described as a Hashgate journals, where you can also not recognize which one is origin, because the same information listed. So I can't confirm you that this is one is fake and this one is origin. Why? Because 2 years after indexing this journal in Scopus, then they are discovered this one is the origin one, and this one is fake one. And so many papers published in the fake website, and we don't know about their sources. If you check here, also the drawbacks of that, the papers cannot be removed here till maybe it was removed from the domain owner, or maybe from the hosting company who hosts this website. And let us go for another examples. Another challenge in bill list and the predatory. There is no control about that. No one can control the bill list contents. No one can address any journal there without their confirmation. So, but how the disadvantage of this predatory is? Actually, there is no full documentation about all the journals around the world. Why? Because new journals, I am just talking about the data statistics of Scopus in 2022, the month of February. The 2021, the month of October. There are more than 500 journals already created to the Scopus database. So to document all the information about all the journals that exist in our world, we cannot control that things, and we do even that there are many sources to address the journal, and we cannot cover all the journals. So to address that, how to solve how to be able to identify the journal. Suppose this case study for one journal, and it's called Xi'an Journal. And at that time also, 2020, 2021, this journal actually published more than thousands articles around the world from many countries. And later it was discovered as a fake journals. And the real one, it was in Chinese language. So, and the domain also is different. So many papers has been published in the fake one, and the real one, it was listed in the in the English language, Chinese language. And the first one, so we have to address some rules, to identify the journal if it is fake or not. The first one, we have to check the editorial board information if it is okay, or the editorial board info names already famous names, or maybe some fake names. Then check previous published paper if there is some papers already indexed in Scopus or not. Select any random 5 papers and search about their DOI or their information. Check the payment methods of that journal, about maybe their payments information, because the fake journal cannot go for official payments like bank. Maybe they go to the Bitcoins or MoneyGrams or some other payments methods. And read carefully the comment in Simago, because some authors or some users already commented about each journal if they have seen that journal was not good. And also navigate about the papers if the journal already published some other papers out of scope or not. If it is do that, then that journal, it will either fake or maybe it is not reputed journal. So by go back to our case study for the 2 journals have seen in the last slides, if we are searching about the name who listed in their editorial board, we cannot find any information about him in the Google. But if it is a famous name, so it should be that name already have maybe Google Scholar account, and we can visit his account maybe from Google. So let us go for another case study. And about this journal also, published so many articles from many users. Then it was removed from Scopus and Simago, and they are considered this link, and already they are mentioned in their website. So I'm just feel that already some journals already it's just expectation. I don't know, but I'm just talking about even one journal. Maybe they already hackers agreed with that journal to do this kinds of a process, but we just expect that things maybe it has been already occurred in some journals around the world. So by go to this case study, and if we have seen the fake journals, if it is already published in open access and charge payment, so it should be that articles free access to each one and to everyone. But after we are pricing for anyone, any article or any volume to visit the published article, we will see there only the title and the abstract. And if we are requested the PDF, we have faced that there is a login information and we cannot even register there. Many times we are not able to log into that account and download the PDF. So that is means that if it is open access publisher, it should be published my article in open access and everyone can download and watch that paper without any registration or login. So let us go for another things. The list that comes from intermediary persons who are contribute some journals. Suppose this list is already comes from one person who live in Canada and he sent that list to my friends, and if I once I check all the journals that listed in this list, I'm just select the 5 journal because of the image size, I find that all these 5 journals are fake journals. Why? Because of some reason that already listed in the previous slide. So go back to this journal and let us identify how that journal it was fake one. If we are check the title of that journal, architecture and technology, means there is some things related to architecture, means engineering, and some technology. We expect computer science, we expect engineering papers there. But if we check that things, we will see there medicine, agriculture, fine arts, religion, pure science, engineering, means all the kinds of papers can be published there. So that means there is no peer review, no any checking in that journal, and that journal it was also fake, as we are mentioning here. Also, we have to check the contact information of the journal. If it is simple email or maybe simple information, there is no guide information, no public information on that journal. So we expect that journal also fake. Let us go for another information. Well, let us check the editorial board members. If we have not seen there any editorial board members, so maybe like this example, also we list that journal as a fake journal. Let us go also for another reasons and check the ISSN, the DUAG, the other information or indices of that journal, and some sources also like maybe it will help us to detect if that journal it was fake or not. So identify fake journal, it is very big challenge and very complex task to many new let us say the new authors or juniors how to identify that. But suppose if you see that there is some advertise on the Facebook about certain journal, you will expect that journal either discontinue or it is fake one. Why? Because this journal already it was advertised on Facebook, and 14 days back, this journal, it was very reputed journal. It was belongs to mid-no publication, and that journal, that publisher also very good and reputed publisher. But unfortunately, that journal was discontinued and listed because of some intermediaries and some agents doing their job in bad manners. Why? Because so many reasons behind that. So if we are check that some countries, what they are doing, they are sending corrupted articles, means it is not a real article to that journal, and see how that journal accepted or make a review for that article, some countries, and if they are seeing any acceptance upon those corrupted articles, they are listed these journals or publisher as predatory or black. Let us go for another example. This journal also very reputed publishers and journals, and the website cannot be duplicated by any hacker. Why? Because of the security and many reasons there. But why that journal listed as a predatory journal? Why? Because this journal send a lot of review invitation to the non-specialist peoples. And if they are do that, just they are searching for any two peoples who can accept their articles or can review their articles, because also the new authors can receive these kinds of invitations. So why they are doing, there is some authors, or maybe there are many authors, they don't have much knowledge about publication and how to review the papers. And if they are receive some review invitation, maybe they cannot review it well. So let us go for another kinds of faking. What kinds of faking maybe we are facing? Actually, the hackers also, they are very smart. Why? Because they created the website in BKB form. And in that form, you cannot recognize which one is origin and which one is fake. And also, they are doing the same comments on the Simago. Maybe if you are visit Simago and Scopus, you will find in Simago, the SJR page, you will find the comments of editor-in-chief of the fake journals. So if you are find their comments, you will believe that journal, it was reputed. But after 3 years and publishing a lot of articles, that journal, it's discovered as a fake journals and the origin in some other websites. So most of the journals actually comes from Western countries, and maybe many others, hackers, they are stealing the information of these of that journals. And latest, but the publishers also, some countries and Ministry of Higher Education list the most reputed publisher who they are follow very good manners for publishing the papers, and their websites and their journal websites, their publisher websites cannot be duplicated by anyone. Like if you are visiting any Springer or maybe Elsevier website, you cannot duplicate it, even you are very intelligent, but you cannot duplicate it. So these are some of the recommended publishers from Ministry of Higher Education, which has been issues in many countries. So thank you very much for the listening. I hope and I am not exceed the times, and I have my presentation give some information about predatory or maybe publishing in reputed journals. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for the Vice Chancellor of this workshop, Professor Israr Muhammad Israr, for inviting me and also for organizing this workshop. Actually, this workshop, it was very great with very large number of attendees with very famous names of speakers around the world who have very good and excellent experience in their field. Thank you very much again, and wishing to all very happy Ramadan Mubarak, inshallah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable suggestion. Now, I would like to invite concluding remark Professor Dr. Mehtab Alam, Dean Academics and Director Academics Planning, Mewar International University, Nigeria. Please, Professor Alam.
Hello, are you audible? Is my voice audible?
Sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Please
good evening. Yeah, good evening to all and one. Today, all the guest speakers presented their thoughts how to publish a paper in well-reputed journal are very informative and conducive to all researchers, whether they belong to academic or corporate industry. As everyone knows that research is considered as blood vein of any institution. The moment we stop research means we are not aware what's going in around or in the world, like a dead person cannot perceive anything. Yeah, your research will not be considered until and unless it is published in Journal of Well Repute. Dr. Pastor rightly mentioned that your invention must be considered up to the customer satisfaction. Dr. Pastor, you explained about the ISO 2500 and CMMI are really very well, and I appreciate your presentation, and I'm very much thankful to you for your presentation. Second, Dr. Moina explained the R&D flowchart is exceptionally well. She not only explained the R&D flowchart, but she described the every phase of R&D are very graphically very well. So everyone can understand this R&D flowchart very well. I really appreciate Dr. Moina for your work. Dr. Ganguly, he also spoke, we should know the aim and scope of journal before submitting our article in which we are going to submit our paper. Is very praiseworthy, because nowadays the researcher or author, they write the paper and without knowing what are the aims and objective of the journal, they submit the paper. They not only waste your energy, but also they waste the resource and energy of the journal team also. Lastly, Dr. Ahmad Obaid, he explained how to identify predatory journal is quite informative. He described the catastrophe of fake journal are praiseworthy. I really appreciate Dr. Ahmed for your work. I am very thankful to you to join this workshop and explain your work. Today, we all participants focused on how to publish our work in journal having high impact factor and good indexing. All the speakers who participated in today's workshop are highly experienced and good instructors. I, on behalf of Mewar family, am very thankful to you for participating in this workshop and guiding the researcher fraternity to publish their paper in good journal, irrespective of their area of research. With this, I want to once again thank every participant and hoping to meet you very soon. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Now, I would like to invite our Pro-Chancellor, Administration Engineer A.S. Bello for the closing address of this international workshop. Please, Engineer A.S. Bello, sir.
Hello, everyone.
Yes,
A very
yes.
good day. On behalf of Mewar International University, I, Engineer Abubakar Sani Bello, would like to sincerely appreciate your attention today for taking out of your busy schedule to provide us with such a valuable information. This international workshop and a huge positive response, all thanks to your support, without which it could have been possible. I wish to thank and great luck with all future events. Look forward to meet you soon. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
Now, hello. Now, I would like to invite this on your camera, so we will go for the snap. Please, all participants, just turn on your camera, so we will go for a snap. Please all. Wait. Okay. Thank you, all the participants and all the speaker. Thank you.
Welcome. All the best, Professor. Thank you for your hard work for this workshop. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Why go abroad when abroad is here? We are now bringing the globally renowned Indian education system to Africa. Welcome to Mewar University, Nigeria, a truly international university with a vision of education for knowledge, peace and prosperity to enable youth from all around the African continent to be part of a truly international education institution. Admissions are open. For more details, visit us on our website or you can visit us on campus at Abuja Kefi Road, Nigeria. Why go abroad when abroad is here? Mewar University, Nigeria, a truly international university